Can I ask you a few questions about the foundation?
Unfortunately, I'm running late for something.
Well, I'll walk with you. One of the criticisms is Bill Gates is sort of a master of the universe, but he's not elected at all.
Bill Gates
but he exerts a lot of
Foundation
power.
president.
How do you feel about that? Isn't it a little undemocratic? Is Melinda still involved at the foundation even after the divorce?
My phone seems to be playing. Oh, we're live on Locals. Booyah. Everybody, I'm not going to play this entire thing. First of all, because everybody has to go look at it themselves and give it a share and give it a like. It's on Twitter. That's Ezra Levant from Rebel News, who ran into the president of the Bill Gates Foundation. Look at his face, by the way, because he's very happy, and rightfully so. This was comedy. This was pure in-your-face comedy. Ezra Levant walks with this man, Christopher Elias, for damn near 8 minutes, asks him question after question, and that smug, pompous, Santa Claus-looking, James Carville-looking dude doesn't answer one. I mean, it's obvious he's not going to answer the question, but it's just funny.
But I did not like that he'd had meetings with Jeffrey Epstein.
How many times did Bill Gates actually visit Epstein? I've seen estimates that it was in the dozens. Is that true?
Look at that face. Look at that face. It's Walter White. That's what it is. It looks like Walter White, except he doesn't make the bestest crystal meth on the planet. He is the bestest. He is the Walter White of not answering questions. This goes on for 8 solid minutes, but it was at the end, which I thought was just hilarious.
And isn't it? You bought half these pavilions. You bought half these people. Has Bill Gates ever made you try his poop water? You know, when he recycles toilet water. Did he ever make the staff try it?
One question after another, and it's just, look at his face. You lowly pleb. You bore me. Oh, I remember hearing that somewhere. Look at his face.
Why has Melinda Gates left Bill, but you haven't? Is it because she got more money than you?
Look at Ezra's face. All right. I think I've teased you enough for that. You've got to go watch the entire thing. It's phenomenal. Rebel. Oh, I'm off center. I did not know that. Go check out the link to Rebel's tweet. They're in Davos and they're getting some good content. I mean, it's an amazing thing where telling the truth and exposing the truth and exposing the lies and the liars and the corruption makes for good content. Ezra's there with Avi Yemini, and they were interviewing European Antifa, who apparently, for whatever the reason, thought it was a good idea to go dressed as actual clowns. Like, nothing's better than people like dressed in black lock with clown faces and the German accents. Yeah, telling you why the anti-fascists are not themselves uns the fascist. Good evening, everybody. Oh, my goodness. So everybody recovered from yesterday's... I'm not rubbing anything in anybody's face. Every now and again, we all get caught up with our own optimism, and we realize only after the fact that we had expectations that were utterly unrealistic. Like, just utterly, delusionally unrealistic. And it's not a question of rubbing it in your face. Ha ha, I'm the victor. Sometimes, unfortunately, it's too late for some people to play nice after they've won because they were playing so dirty in order to win, or mean and nasty. Not mentioning any names. All that I'm saying is that last night was historic in more ways than one, and we're going to break it down. So on the topic, on the menu of the day, first things first, shout out to Rebel News, doing the Lord's work in Davos. I couldn't. How does he even identify that guy? He's just walking, he's like, oh, there's Christopher Elias. And the dude's got no security? Like, Ezra's not a threat, but some of those clown-faced Antifa types, I wouldn't trust them. We're going to do on YouTube and Rumble the recap of yesterday. Went live. There's not really much to add, except I like Vivek Ramaswamy even more today than I did last night. We're going to go over the highlights from that because the biggest news from yesterday's momentous, historic, record-breaking victory of Donald John Trump in Iowa primary caucuses is the news that was not reported, and that was his speech. We're going to get into it. We're going to talk about that. The news is Vivek Ramaswamy has suspended his campaign like a bloody gentleman and has has endorsed Donald Trump like a bloody America First American and is now going to campaign for Donald Trump, talking about the stuff that makes that is important. So we're going to do that here. For those of you who don't know, Viva Fry, former Montreal litigator turned current Florida rumbler. We start off on YouTube. For those of you who don't know, also I'm sitting on a stool and my feet don't touch the ground, so I have to put a a little a stool so that my feet are resting on something. So I'm just getting that. There we go. To my feet. We start on YouTube, Rumble, and vivabarneslaw.locals.com. But I say in 25, 30 minutes into it, maybe more, maybe less, depending on how carried away I get. We end on YouTube because YouTube is what I like to call CommieTube. It's not quite censorship tube, but what it is sort of like soft censorship tube. And they soft censor to direct control narrative. They graffiti up your wall with COVID information. They direct you to Wikipedia as if Wikipedia is a more reliable information source than me. We end on YouTube. We go over to Rumble, the true free speech platform. Then at the end of the stream, we end the entire stream. We go over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com. And we have an after party there. No, it's not called a babysitter. I'll show you what it is, actually. Well, maybe it is the babysitter. It's what my kids use to stand on so they can reach the sink in the bathroom. It's actually quite nice. Well made. Put together, I put it together with my wife and we didn't get divorced, so there's that. Okay. Put that back down here. And actually, before we get into the Donald Trump longest YouTube commercials ever, let him play. Let him play. No skin off your back. Open up another window. Start watching another window. Let him play. Especially if they are Joe Biden presidential campaign ads. We're going to get there. Okay. And actually, first things first about everything. Viva Booster. Okay, I thought those jab pushing doctors of trolls have found their way into the stream. That is not bad. It is a Viva Booster. All right, I was going to say this. I'll start off with actually highlighting something about YouTube. Rumble right now is noticing some difficulties in terms of auto migration through an app. I don't know how they do it, of people's video libraries from YouTube onto Rumble. For those of you who don't know, like if you've ever used, I don't use them, and I have my reasons, but Odyssey, BitChute, they have this thing, like it's basically like an auto migration app function that allows you to integrate, to bring over your entire, not repertoire, inventory, library is the word I'm looking for, your entire library of video content. If you open up a platform on BitChute, Odyssey, or Rumble. And there's an app and it says, okay, I'm going to auto-migrate the entire library because you might have like 1,000 videos on YouTube and you started an account on Rumble and you want to bring them all over. And it was working for a bit. I think it was working for a couple of years. And then all of a sudden, something happens where it seems that YouTube is frustrating the ability of Rumble to migrate video libraries from YouTube over to Rumble. Apparently it's not happening with Odyssey, but that's only according to one person on Twitter. So the battle is going to be fought, and it's going to be fought dirty, and it's going to be fought in every way that can frustrate a competitor's ability to compete with in the business sense and to compete with in the narrative control sense. Some people can make the argument, yeah, they should make it difficult. Elon doesn't want Facebook advertising on Twitter. You don't want people posting links to Twitter to divert traffic from the platform to another one. Understood. But it seems to be politically motivated, or at the very least directed at one particular competitor and not at others, allegedly. Nuhu Ribadu. Look him up. When you fight corruption, it fights back. So there's that news. I'm following it. I mean, we'll see where it goes, but yeah. Standard disclaimers, no medical advice, no election. I don't even need to do this anymore. YouTube super chats. If you see like a highlighted money tip comment, YouTube takes 30% of that. I thought I almost made a mistake, but I didn't. Rumble has announced that I think for a little while, they're still going to give 100% of revenue to the creator. So if you do a super rant, a Rumble rant, like we got from Ginger Ninja, who might have reached 100 followers on Twitter, it's 100%. So better for the creator, etc. But vivafry.com if you want to buy some merch. vivabarneslaw.locals.com if you want to support the work that Robert and I do. And you can also go there and not support the work that we do, just be part of our wonderful community. And you get tons of stuff that's not behind a paywall. Some stuff is behind a paywall for the supporters. So you can choose to support. It's $10 a month, $100 a year at the discounted rate. And that's it. Okay. I'm warmed up is right. I don't know if that was for me, but how's Florida? Here, how's Florida? Viva, I'm up here in Northern Ontario. About 60% are still based. Well, Florida's beautiful if you mean by the weather. All right, let's start with yesterday. So the news of the day, the news of the night. Trump won Iowa, a contested caucus primary, by 30 or damn near 30%, 29%. He had 51.9 or 50.9%. Second place was DeSantis with 21%. Third place, although it doesn't seem like she knew it, was Nikki Haley at 18% and change. And fourth place, but I got to tell you, outperformed and did amazing, Vivek Ramaswamy with 7.7%. Okay, those were the results. Apparently, from what I understand, it was the record-breakingest victory in a contested primary by a lot, by like 2.5-fold. The last widest margin of a victory was like by 12.5%. I think I reserve the right to be wrong, but in principle, this is what I understood. Nikki Haley, by all accounts, underperformed. The media was hyping it up that she was going to be second place. Apparently, her speech was prepared on the basis that she was second place by a fair distance when she said something along the lines of, it's now down to a two-person race, not realizing DeSantis beat her, whatever. So the big news is, or was, other than Trump winning, Vivek suspended his campaign. Now, the dude is a class action, is a world-class rock star from beginning to end. Class act is the word I'm looking for. And I just want to show one video. This is after he has announced his concession. He says, I'll play the video, the other one. He says, I'm done. We need to rally now behind the only candidate who can really do this, Trump, America first. Spends $30 million of his own money, family money, his own money, whatever you want to call it. Runs a campaign, doesn't finish in a way that indicates any possibility for future victory, and does what respectable candidates do, bows out graciously. Listen to this, and then stays there and shakes hands.
Days were great for me, so.
Nan,
I love you so
I love
much.
you, man. We're so grateful. You came up here.
Can you imagine what a journey it is
So great
to go out on the campaign, hit
right.
city after city, event after event, interview after interview,
That's right.
18-hour days.
I know.
I'll be your brown son forever. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. We'll see you soon. We're going to hang out more on the tennis court, on that tennis court. Yes, we're going to do all of it. We're going to have so much fun.
And there's people out there who say, I'm still skeptical of Vivek because he's too smooth when he talks, as if speaking unsmoothly should be an asset. So he bows out. Let me get his speech. This is not the big news of the day. Where is it? Come on, Fani Willis. We're going to get to Fanny's Fanny in a bit. No, I think this might be it. This one's it. Okay, here we go. So this is what Vivek said last night. I had to go get independent confirmation in real time. He bowed out. Here, listen.
As I've said since the beginning, there are two America First candidates in this race. And earlier tonight, I called Donald Trump to tell him that I congratulated him on his victory. And now going forward, he will have my full endorsement for the presidency. And I think we're going to do the right thing for this country. As I've said since the beginning.
I made a very smart and also very stupid comment on Twitter yesterday. Added to the list. I said between Trump and Vivek, you had almost 60% of the Iowa vote. That's the VP ticket. And people rightly pointed out that would be true of any other of the combinations. You get Trump and DeSantis, you've got 75%. You get Trump and Nikki Haley, you get almost 70%. True. You understood what I meant. Between the two of them, they are the America First candidates, whatever you want to call the MAGA candidates. I mean, I hate that word because now it's almost like a slur to some. It's an undefined term to others. But those are the two MAGA candidates of the four. And between the two of them, they got 60% of the overall vote in Iowa. That would make one hell of a nice ticket. I'm sticking to my prediction that it's going to be Vivek as Donald Trump's VP. But if you could believe this, the news is not Vivek pulling out. The news is not DeSantis. I don't know. I guess he did well, but people thought he was going to win. Some people thought he was going to win. Hope springs eternal, but it doesn't matter. He did, he did decent. Nikki Haley did not do as good as the media said she was going to do, was doing. They wanted, they're propping her up. She's the Trojan horse, as everybody says. But the news was not really the outcome. They try to downplay the Trump victory. The news was what they did not air. You will not believe this. I didn't see it because I don't watch that scumbag scoundrel of the earth, Rachel Maddow. Her face makes me want to vomit. And not physically. I'm not making fun of an ugly person. She is spiritually ugly. It exudes from every pore, from every orifice in her ugly face. She's an ugly liar of a human. Repulsive. Like actual, the old expression, I hate your guts? It's because someone exuded like pheromones that made you hate them from your pit of your effing stomach. From the pit of your stomach. Rachel Maddow, for anybody who's watching that crap, came out on MSNBC, listen to this, and said, we're not airing Donald Trump's victory speech. But the arrogant pom-pom, look at that face. Look at his face. Look at all of them. They're all disgusting humans. I'm getting ready for you to lie to me. Rachel, can you lie to me? Tell me what you're going to do and deny our viewers, just of facts, of information. Wait until you hear this, people. If you don't know what happened, Rachel Maddow said, we're not showing you Trump's victory speech. We'll let you know if anything newsworthy comes out of it. CNN cuts away partway through, and we've got the receipts. Listen to this.
Let me just interject. I'm sorry, I just have to do a little bit of business just for a second.
How can you not vomit looking? I just got to do a little bit of business. If she were an honest, wonderful human being, she would be not nauseating to the eyes, to the soul, to the brain, to the heart. I just got to do some business here.
Let me just interject. I'm sorry.
$24 million a year she gets paid to sell her soul, by the way.
Do a little bit of business just for a second.
Do a little business.
At this point in the evening, the projected winner of the Iowa caucuses has just started giving his victory
The projected
speech.
winner. His name is Donald John Trump, you scumbag. The projected winner? What is this dehumanizing rhetoric? The thing that won. The cockroach. Well, you're not calling him a cockroach. You're denying his very existence. What did she say? This awful, awful human.
Has just started giving his winner of the Iowa caucuses. In the evening, the projected winner of the Iowa caucuses,
Donald Trump.
just started giving
Say his name.
Speech.
Say my name. You're goddamn right, Rachel Maddow. What's my name? President Donald John Trump.
We'll keep an eye on that.
We'll keep an eye on it.
We will let you know if there's any news made in that speech, if there's anything noteworthy, something substantive and important.
Hey, I was going to say something bad. Hey, Rachel. The speech itself is newsworthy. That is the news. It's so enraging. Nobody wants to know that I'm sweating. We'll let you know if something newsworthy happens in the most newsworthy speech of at the very least, of the week, of the year. We'll let you know. We'll let you remember when, who was it? Was it Jake Tapper? Who's it that said you have to look at you can't look through the Hillary emails. You just need to get the information. I think it was Cuomo. We'll let you know if anything happens, but listen, it gets worse.
Important. The reason I'm saying this is, of course, there is a reason that we and other news organizations have generally stopped giving an unfiltered live platform to remarks by former President Trump. It is
because you're godforsaken fascists, because you are filthy tyrants, because you are the oppressors that you accuse others of being. There's a reason why we haven't given enough. No, there isn't a reason, other than the fact that you are propagandists. Oh, no, there's a reason. What's her reason? What's her reason?
not out of spite. It is not a decision.
It's not out of spite? It's out of spite.
It is not out of spite.
Yes, it is.
Not a decision that we relish. It is a decision
Yes, it is.
that we regularly revisit.
No, you don't.
And honestly, earnestly,
Honestly.
not an easy decision, but there is a cost to us as a news organization of knowingly broadcasting untrue things. That is a fundamental truth of our business and who we are. And so his remarks tonight will not air here live. We will monitor them and let you know about any news that he makes.
I got to tell you something. I am trying so hard right now not to swear and not to call her all the names under the sun that are expletives and curse words. It's not going to air here. There's a cost of doing of knowingly broadcasting disinformation. The lady is crazy. The problem is, I thought you were Leonardo DiCaprio for a second. She's not crazy. She's just a liar. She's a liar who has sold her soul for $24 million a year. And I'm not. You could not pay me enough to degrade my soul. But there's a cost. There's a cost of doing it. Let's just go see what CNN had to do here. CNN cut away. Let's play this one. There's a cost. I put together just a little montage this morning. There's a cost to doing, to lying.
There is a cost to us as a news organization of knowingly broadcasting untrue things.
If you're unvaccinated, you have a much higher chance of getting this newly transmissible variant we had never seen before a couple of weeks ago.
There is a cost to us as a news organization of knowingly broadcasting untrue things.
And it's the unvaccinated people who it's going to make sick.
There is a cost to us as a news organization of knowingly broadcasting untrue things.
You really do not want to be the person who gets it and then spreads it to other people.
Can you believe that she's just turned in to a big pharma salesperson? I didn't even realize it until I put this together. Like, it's so gross and disgusting. And by the way, I didn't even get to the Russiagate crap that this woman spewed for the better part of 3 years.
There is a cost to us as a news organization of knowingly broadcasting untrue things.
Now we know that the vaccines work well enough that the virus stops. With every vaccinated person.
Knowingly
The virus stops with every vaccinated person.
broadcasting untrue things.
A vaccinated person gets exposed to the virus.
They're protected.
The virus does not infect them. The virus cannot then use that person to go anywhere else.
Untrue things.
It cannot use a vaccinated person as a host to go get more people.
Untrue things.
Hell is where these people deserve to go. At some point they will. I mean, hold on one second. Stop screen. I mean, I'll link to that tweet. I didn't even have time to go get the Russiagate crap that she spewed off for 3.5 years. I mean, these people don't need to go to hell because they're living in their own hell. There's no way. I think I just say, like, when she looks at herself in the mirror at night, and not like, I'm not saying you should be ashamed of yourself. Like, I genuinely wonder, does she go to bed? I mean, she might be sleeping in a big pile of money. I'm sure it's very comfortable. But do they go to bed and say, I'm doing good? I mean, the thing is, I think they might actually go to bed saying, I'm doing good. Yeah, I know I'm bending the truth, but if I didn't say that, then people wouldn't have gone and gotten the jab, and I really genuinely believe everybody needed to so we could get out of this pandemic. There's a cost of doing business for publishing things that are untrue. Yeah, if there were, you would be out of business, Rachel, personally, and I do wait for the day when a vaccine-injured person sues Rachel Maddow personally for having given unsolicited medical advice that they followed and got injured. The day should come. But wait, there's more. Where was the CNN? Here we go. Look at this. This is CNN. The literal embodiment. I guess it's the literal embodiment of the ministry of truth. We will decide what you listen to today. You know who silenced political opponents? Fascists.
Baby girl. We're going to seal up the border. Because right now we have an invasion. We have an invasion of millions and millions of people that are coming into our country. I can't imagine why they think that's a good thing.
Donald Trump declaring victory with a historically strong showing in the Iowa caucus.
Historically strong or strongest ever? Is that Jake Tapper lying?
If these numbers hold, the biggest victory for a non-incumbent president in the modern era for this contest. A relatively subdued speech as these things go so far.
How about you shut your mouth so we can hear it, Jake?
Although here he is right now.
Is that Jake Tapper?
Under my voice, you hear him repeating his...
Who the hell wants to hear it under your voice, sir?
His anti-immigrant rhetoric. He did take time to...
Yeah, it is Jake the fake Tapper.
Praise his Rivals Haley and DeSantis and Ramaswamy by name, rather un-Trump-like to do that. Gracious, but perhaps a sign of some message discipline, at least for one night.
These MFers, they deserve to be bankrupt off air and boycotted. I don't watch these things on purpose. The only time I watch it is if it's like the only thing playing on a television in an exercise facility at a hotel. Scum of the earth, pathological liars, fascists, they do what they accuse Trump of thinking he's going to do. They are what they accuse Trump of. It's over the top. CIA News Network. No question about that. But now, hold on. Is there anything more about... Okay, hold on. I just want to make sure that we've got everything that we came to see about that. Okay, here we go. But there's something... Hold on. What was this? No. This is Fani Willis. This is for our second part of the show on Rumble. We're going to head on over to Rumble in a few minutes. I think we've covered everything as far as yesterday goes. Let me go to the chat and see if there's anything here. Link to Rumble. Confession through projection, says this guy. But it's just, can you imagine the arrogance to think, yeah, the former president who just had a historic victory is talking. Under my voice, you can hear him. Who the hell do you think you people are? And they all nod their heads like a bunch of barking seals. The people don't need to know. We'll tell you what you need to know. Anybody who watches MSNBC and Rachel Maddow on purpose is an idiot. They need saving in as much as they can be saved, but I think they cannot possibly. Anybody who sits there and says, this is okay for me, I don't need to see it, just tell me what I need to know. Lazy, stupid, dishonest, dumb. Which is the audience of Rachel Maddow and CNN at Jake Tapper. Enjoy it. Oh, we're just going to go cut away. Now, speaking of, so this is Haley's speech. I remember I brought this up for a reason. What did I bring this up for? Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. They won't air Donald Trump. And I don't know if DeSantis was given a speech, so, born to runner up, to quote The Simpsons. Let's hear what third place loser Nikki Haley has to say, because that's more important than Trump. Does anybody notice that when she talks, it always looks like her teeth are clenched? It just kind of drives me a little crazy.
Both lack a vision for our country's future, because both are consumed by the past, by investigations, by vendettas, by grievances. America deserves better.
I'm so happy with myself. Well, that was a good line. America deserves better. Oh, yeah, they just got to prop her up for New Hampshire. Well, it's a white, pearly tooth smile, that's for sure. It feels like we're living in a movie.
Both lack a vision for our country's future.
They lack vision.
Because both are consumed by the past, by investigations, by vendettas, by grievances.
You're damn right you should be consumed by grievances. Forgive and forget so they can do it all again, Nikki? No. But it's very nice. The media quite clearly likes Nikki. Heading into New Hampshire, by the way, where they think Nikki Haley could even win. New Hampshire is another state where you don't need to be a registered Republican in order to, or you don't need to be exclusively Republican. Basically, independents and Democrats can register as Republicans to vote in the primary in New Hampshire. They're expecting Nikki Haley to do well there, although they were expecting her to outperform or finish second yesterday. And there's a lot of people who take issue with the idea that non-Republicans should have a say whatsoever in a primary to be able to register as you could be Democrat your whole life, register as a Republican and vote in the primary. It's an interesting thing. I was discussing it with someone who's older and smarter than me who raised an interesting point. Let's even just say they are bona fide Democrats trying to get their candidate into the field. I mean, it would be interesting that nonetheless you would be able to have a candidate on the GOP side that could pull some Democrat votes. It's very interesting. So the argument is, and it's actually, hadn't really even thought about it this way. you might want a candidate on the conservative side who's capable of getting Democrat votes. And so it's not necessarily a bad thing if some Democrats say, I'm going to register as a Republican because I'd like to see this candidate on the Republican side. Maybe I'll vote for them. All right. That's if people play by the rules and do things in good faith, which we know Democrats, I won't say most people cheat in politics. Democrats happen to do it very well. So if it's a sincere gesture, like, yeah, I'd like someone on the GOP side who's a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Middle of the road than Trump, although I don't know what he's not middle of the road on. Well, let's get Nikki Haley in there, and maybe you can actually draw some Democrat votes from Joe Biden. Or the way it's going to be gamed is bus in a bunch of people who've never voted Republican in a primary in their lives, so they can falsify the results so that you end up with the devil on one side and the devil on the other instead of the one that the actual base would have wanted on their side. So you end up skew it, play the game so that you get Joe Biden's marionette on the Democrat side and Nikki Haley, who apparently seems to be more Democrat than conservative, on the conservative Republican side. That's called gaming the system. Something about Nikki rubs you the wrong way? Yeah, she's the Republican Hillary Clinton. She just exudes a little less evil, but not by much. She hasn't been in a position of power, really, to carry out that evil or to allow her to express her disdain for ordinary Americans. She hasn't really been in that position yet. But some people might say, Nikki's classic establishment. Nikki is classic war hawk, war pigs, deep state-ish, administrative state, industrial complex candidate. That's what she is. Don't think anybody disagrees with that. She just comes off as a little bit more sympathetic than Hillary. Didn't she work for Boeing? Yeah, of course she worked for Boeing. She had financial troubles, left politics, went into military contracting, made $8 to $10 million in 5 years, and wants to push war in Ukraine, push war in the Middle East, war, because it's very profitable, and she ain't sending her kids, and she sure as hell, well, I guess her husband is out there now. But when it comes to them using that as the defense, well, my husband's out there. Being out there and being front lines, the one who's going to, run into an IED, big difference there. All right. That is it for the primaries. At least number one. So New Hampshire is next week, I want to say. All right, people, we're going to get into Big Fani. Oh, that sounded terribly gross. Dude, okay. I don't know how Big Fani doesn't know to keep your mouth shut when she's not being investigated by the police, but she's not far off. Shut your big mouth, but she couldn't, and we're going to go into it. So everybody, end on YouTube. Here's the link to Rumble. I'll give you the link to vivabarneslaw.locals.com so we can go over there. I just saw a dumpster fire. Paracleric in our Viva Barnes Law community put out it's a dumpster on fire screeching down a dystopian highway with the number 2024 on it, engulfed in flames with two people with masks, goggles, and one person. Both of them are carrying guns. That's a fantastic, probably AI-generated image. We're at 2,090 people on YouTube. That number has to go down before we can get out of here. And that is the link to vivabarneslaw.locals.com. And what else is going on, people? I've dumped the kids off with a neighbor so that I could stream and scream freely. Rumble doesn't work for everybody. Then if that's true, then go to Locals. Locals should work for everybody. You don't have to be a member you don't have to be a paying supporter to watch on Locals. Okay, we're under 2,000. We're going to end on YouTube. Come on over, and I'll upload the entire thing tomorrow to YouTube anyhow, so they get the leftovers. Over to Rumble, vivabarneslaw.locals.